headline several months ago for a woman who was branded a coffee cup killer. She's a U.S. Open referee, Lois Goodman, and she was arrested for the murder of her husband. Now, this case captured a lot of attention, not just because of what she's accused of, but for how she's accused of killing her husband. Take a look. On April 17th, police responded to 70-year-old Lois Goodman's 911 call. When they arrived at her home in Woodland Hills, California, they made a gruesome discovery: the lifeless body of 80-year-old Alan Goodman, Lois's husband of 49 years. His blood covered the bed where Lois said she'd found him after returning home from a manicure appointment. Blood was also found on the staircase and other parts of the house. When questioned, Lois, a mother of 3 and grandmother, told police she thought Alan fell down the stairs and later died in bed where she found him. Among the evidence collected in the ensuing weeks was a broken coffee cup found at the scene. An autopsy later revealed Alan suffered multiple blows to his head, where pieces of the coffee cup were found embedded. 4 months later, Lois, a professional tennis umpire, was in New York preparing to work the U.S. Open when police arrived at her hotel and arrested her for the murder of her husband. Prosecutors allege that Lois bludgeoned Alan to death, striking him 10 times in the head with a coffee cup and stabbing him with the handle. The case continues to capture attention in the media as Lois, who has pled not guilty, awaits trial. Well, breaking her silence here in a daytime exclusive is Lois Goodman's daughter, Allison. She's here with her husband, Ron, and her mom's attorney, Alison Triessl. Appreciate all of you being with us. First of all, when you heard your mom had been arrested and you saw those terrible headlines, what is that like as a daughter?
It's a nightmare. It's a complete nightmare. I mean, never in a million years we would think something like this would happen.
Your mom now has taken a polygraph test, and the breaking news on this is that I understand she passed it.
Yeah, because she didn't do it.
That was just released this morning. When was the polygraph administered?
Last week it was administered, and then we had a second expert retest the polygraph in a blind study, and he also found that she was being truthful.
But now that's not admissible in court, right?
However, every police agency, FBI, CIA, local agencies, they use polygraph every day to rule people out, to say, yes, they did this, it is probable cause to arrest them. So it's vital that she passed. And in fact, the detective, one of the reasons he gave for her arrest is because she had been advised not to take a polygraph.
Allison, I want to go back to when your father died. What appeared had happened, or what the official story was in the beginning, was that he took a fall somehow, managed to hit his head on the coffee cup. That's what caused the cup to shatter, and then somehow managed with his injuries to get back up to his bed. Did that seem plausible to you in your grief of losing your father?
Sure,
that could have happened. Your dad was, what, 80 years old?
He was almost 81, and his sight was going, and he had very weak legs, and we've all tripped on those stairs, all of us.
Your mom's also been criticized for her behavior in the wake of the killing, cleaning her house. What do you say to that?
Cleaning her house? Who wouldn't clean your house? Yes, she cleaned her house. It was an accident. She even, picked up all the pieces and tried to give it to the police officer. And they said, oh, no, we don't need it. It's an accident.
She tried to give the coffee cup to the police officer?
She picked up all the pieces and put it in a bag and tried to give it to him. As they were leaving, they were like, oh, no, we don't need that.
And the cops initially said this was just a tragic accident. You can go about the grim and sad business of having your father prepared for burial. And it wasn't until a few days later, when the coroner came to the mortuary to do his final report, that everything changed. What happened?
I can't tell you that.
It was the mortician who noticed the injury to the head and then called the coroner and said this may be suspicious. But there were no photos, there were very few photos taken at the scene. There was no collecting of any evidence at the scene. It was only when the mortician called the coroner that then things were put into play and they said this is suspicious.
What was the relationship like between your mom and your dad?
Everything has always been great. They were married almost 50 years. A happy marriage, no problems at all. We've always had a great family and very supportive of each other, very loving, My mom's funny, my dad, he's quiet, but they were a good, team.
How's your mom's holding up? How is she holding up in all this?
She's in shock. She's devastated. I mean, when the hardest day of my life was when I had to go visit her in jail, and she's there in her little orange jumpsuit, and she's just like, why am I here? I don't understand what's going on.
What is it like as a dog?
It's horrible. It was heartbreaking, and you're just so frustrated because there's nothing you can do. But just, we have to play this out. Something that, it just doesn't make any sense.
And when you saw that headline, I mean, coffee cup killer, it's so...
The headline, I can't stand the headlines. They're all just, everything is so sensationalized, and it's just, you know, none of it's true. And they say such inflammatory things that it's like, that didn't happen. They're like, oh, she did this, she did this. No, she didn't.
That's not the mother you know.
No, my mother's funny and warm and supportive, and she's wonderful.
Allison, can I ask a really stupid Elle Woods kind of question? Has anyone talked to the manicurist? If she killed the father and then went to the manicurist, what did the manicurist say?
Well, the manicurist said she was as she always was for the 14 years that she came to us. There was nothing unusual. Was there any blood on her hands? Absolutely not. Did she have this appointment? Yes, here's the appointment book. She called and said, I'm running a little bit late. I'm running late for my tennis match. Nothing unusual at all. Nothing.
When does this go to trial?
Probably about 5 months from now we'll go to trial.
We'll continue to follow it. Appreciate all of you being on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And coming up, we'll talk to criminologist Casey Jordan about this case and about the Sandusky sentencing, which we're awaiting right now. We'll be right back.